Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Putt.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Friday. It's the 29th of April. We've made it to the end of another week and another month. It's moving fast. I say that quite often, don't I? It's moving fast. All right, we're at the 29th. So we have the same sun sign, which is Taurus. It's an earth sign. It's going to be there for half of the month of May. So with Taurus, we're still working with connecting that spirit to the physical. We've just come out of a moon sign of Capricorn, which is an earth sign dealing with the physical reality. And now we're moving from there into an air sign, which is action. Air is action. Air are the words we speak. It's the actions that we take. And it is represented here in the tarot by the card of the Star. Now, the Star is the woman. She's naked because representing the purity of life, that, we're all naked. We're not clothed to what's going on. It's a card of air and action. She's pouring this water out, which is all about the flowing of things that flow forth, showing the emanation of spirit that continues to flow and emanate forth through all things. And I always like to think about Aquarius back during the time of the 60s when we heard about all of the age of Aquarius coming up and all the hopefulness that everyone seemed to have around that period of time. So I like to think of it in that way, that Aquarius represents this hopefulness, this belief that there's something better for us out there emanating and flowing forth from all that's going on. So no matter what's going on now, we still have the opportunity to retain our innocence and to go back to that place in time where, before the situation with Adam and Eve, where their nakedness didn't affect them because they were in that state of innocence. We're well past that. So basically, that's kind of what this is about: retaining to getting back to a place of innocence by allowing the expression that we put into the world to be representative of the flow of spirit that is emanating out into our lives. Okay. So that's what the Aquarius is all about. We made that transition at 3:47 a.m., so we're all the way there into Aquarius, and we're going to be there over the course of the rest of this weekend, tomorrow, and then of course we shall see over here. It should probably have, no, it doesn't have a little one. All right, so the other signs that we have coming up here are aspects for the day is Mars. Mars is going to interact with Aquarius. So Aquarius being air, Mars is heat. So, brings some sort of hot air into the mix, warms up the air, warms up the actions that are taking place. But you have to remember with Mars, Mars always can go aggressive or passionate. We want to go passionate and creative, but if things get bottled up, then it can be more aggressive. So here we have a sextile showing there's a nice, good, positive flow of energy. So it could be a good opportunity to warm up that air, warm up the air that's going on in our world, warm up the expressions that we're putting into the world. Taurus and Venus are going to be together tonight, or Venus moves into Taurus at 7:36 p.m., which is where it belongs anyway. So that just really accentuates the idea of applying imagination into our reality, into this physical reality that is connecting together with the spiritual. And 10:29 p.m. we have a square, a lesson the sun and the moon are going to square off. The sun telling us the lessons of Taurus, the moon giving us the lessons of Aquarius, the earth and the air meeting each other in some sort of a lesson. Okay, the conscious mind, we want, remember, looking for a way to connect to spirit, whereas the expressions here need to learn that lesson, need to understand how this all works. How do we connect with spirit while we're physical? How do we allow this expression? So, looks like today could be a really good opportunity to get our heads right about what it is we're thinking and saying in the world. Okay, just a thought, looking at that off the top of my head. No pun intended. All right, here we go. Just the wheel. Take a further look at that. The moon phase is 55.6 kilometers per second, or 55.6%. New moon, May 6th. That is only 1 week away. Jewish calendar, 21 Nisan. Passover day 6, Omer day 6, making its way to day 7, beginning tonight. Count 7, counting the Omer. Daily thought, future miracles, the miracles of Egypt were an infinite light breaking into our world. The miracles of the future will be our world shining an infinite light outward. Okay, so this really kind of applies when we, you remember I've been using the analogy lately about we are like film cameras, or the projectors. There's a movie showing through us the light, and then we show that out into the world. Kind of fits in, the miracles of the future will be our world shining an infinite light outward. So when we're shining that light outward, we're projecting into the world that higher vision about where and what we can become. So shine the light. Okay, we're at a new wave spell, a new theme here in the Dreamspell Oracle. There's just another way to look at time. Some people relate to this, some don't. Some relate to astrology, some don't. You just have to find what way of looking at time works for you, and then learn from it what you can. Okay, so this wave spell here is all about the monkey. The monkey's about playing. I like to think of the monkey like Rafiki from The Lion King. Remember, he was the shaman monkey, taught you to see through the illusions, see into the other realms. So this whole theme here, this next 13 days, all has this idea, playing with the energies around us, understanding there's something deeper and mystical beyond the veil. And our guide for today is the monkey, the same thing. So we're organizing, we're attracting all of these different energies of playfulness to us. The heart, the dog, loyalty, it's our hidden power. The star shining bright is our like-minded energy, and taking the time out to really honor and who and what is being born through us. That's our challenge. We have to remember, to take time out for ourselves, honor who and what we're about. Take time to rest up, nurture ourselves. The phrase for today is I unify in order to play, attracting illusion. I seal the process of magic with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by my own power doubled. Right, cosmic, the solar wind over at spaceweather.com is 356.2 kilometers per second. Planetary K index, we got 1, and probably looks like it's going to stay that way the next 24 hours. Big coronal hole here. Over the weekend, we're going to be feeling something May 1st, so Sunday. And what else we have here? M-class flare and X-class both at 1%. And geomagnetic storm activity, that looks like it's subsiding as well. 40 down to 35. 60 down to 55. So a slight decrease, slight increase. So things are subsiding as the Earth continues to breathe. It's good that the Earth and the system around us is breathing. And finally, up in the sky tonight, the last quarter moon, exactly 11:29 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The moon rises tonight around 2 a.m. local daylight savings time. It shines above dim Capricornus before the first light of dawn. It's a busy night at Jupiter. Io crosses the planet's face at 9:42 to 11:57 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by its tiny black shadow from 10:44 to 12:58 Eastern Daylight Time. Europa transits the planet from 12:28 to 3:25 a.m., followed by the shadow from 2:47 to 5:32. Meanwhile, Jupiter's great red spot crosses the planet's meridian around 10:52 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. All right, there you go. There's our cosmic weather. Those are the energies we're dealing with today and into the weekend. So we have Taurus. Taurus is our conscious mind. Conscious mind, remember, is the things that we're thinking about, focusing on. So we look into reality around us, and we're dealing with the physical world. But the idea of Taurus and the Hierophant, which is the tarot card associated, reminds us we must hook the spiritual to the physical. That's the whole secret. That's what the spiritual teacher is. He's helping to bring the spiritual down into the physical. And it's represented by the letter Va, meaning nail or hook, hooking together the spirit and the physical. So that's our conscious mind, okay? We look at the world around us. We look at all the events that are taking place these days. Imagine how they might change and be affected if we look at those physical events and actions that are taking place and we apply a spiritual lens to it. Imagine how we might be able to change that. Something to think about, because we really can do a lot more than we realize. Oftentimes people say, well, I can't do anything about the events that are taking place in the world, but we can. We can change our thoughts about that. And when many, many people change their thoughts, it changes the thoughts for the whole. So we do have an opportunity to make things different in the world. So our conscious mind at this time is wanting to hook that spirit, and the unconscious mind over this weekend, Aquarius, is the air. It's the actions we take along that journey. The actions we take along the journey of retaining that innocence within us, that hopefulness of the future. So use those ideas, look up further information. There's plenty of links available at firstcontactradio.com so you can further your research and just keep learning, see what works for you, see how you understand this, because life for me, and I'm sure it's the same for you, is a constant journey of learning. And every day I learn something new, and that's what makes it nice and exciting. Nice and exciting. Okay, there you go. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today, 5 stories. Story number 1. This is a story that took place over Melbourne. We have this object in question right here, the blur. April 26th. Source was paranormal.over-blog.com. Here's a cool post sent over from Christian Mace, a French UFO researcher at UFO or OVNI Paranormal. The UFO is a semi-transparent and seems to change shape. I am surprised it stays in one place over his home for such a long time. This does prove it's not a balloon. Very cool. He had several people when he saw it. Okay. And this is over Melbourne. 26th. Okay. Seems to have the video itself here is 2 minutes and 22 seconds, but it seems to starting and stopping. So anyway, you see the image, so you understand what we're looking for right there. All right, let's move on to the next story here. This image was seen over Las Vegas. Now, this was a month ago, back in February, way back in February, since we're already moving into May. Nice big light in the sky. Dr. Charles Hall worked 2 years with tall whites that had their own base under Nellis Air Force Base. This glowing ship looks a lot like the description that Hall gave about what he saw they flew in. All right, here's the eyewitness account. I had just come out of the Rio Hotel Casino to catch the EB Flamingo bus. I turned back towards the hotel because I caught this very bright white light out of my peripheral vision. It was going west, no sound, no blinking, no FAA ID collision lights. It glowed from within, no external lights. I'm a former private pilot and aircraft and technology enthusiast. I'm familiar with most kind of aircraft, and this wasn't a helicopter, a jet, a civilian aircraft. When I saw that it was returning EB from behind the Rio building, I took up my cell phone to video it, took a picture, switched to video. I think it was a UFO, unless it was some kind of homemade drone, but for my best estimate, it was about 300 feet at altitude, maybe a quarter to half a mile away, and it looked to be about the size of a minivan. I didn't see it emerge from behind building number 2, and right at that time, my bus was arriving. You can hear it in the audio along with the traffic noise. Okay, very interesting. So that took place over Vegas. Here we have a story. Will it really be a battlefield Earth is the question that is asked. Kind of brings to mind that movie John Travolta was in called Battlefield Earth. I believe it was written by, was it L. Ron Hubbard that wrote that one? Anyway, the story here goes on to say, big government maintains that there are no such things as intelligent extraterrestrial life forms, while evidence to the contrary abounds. Stephen Elliott Altman, a best-selling science fiction author who recently penned the Ancient Aliens video game for the History Channel, suggests, with 2,625 reported sightings in 2000, 3,069 reported sightings in 2010, and 6,770 in 2015, and already 1,446 in 2016, all listed with the National UFO Reporting Center. Altman asks, how long can we deny the controversial global phenomena that extraterrestrials has visited Earth in our remote past and continue to do so? Altman stated considerable speculation exists as to what the future holds when humankind formally meets up with extraterrestrials and discovers that they have been influential for some time in our civilization, lore, and cosmology. He noted that in the introduction to the New York Times best-selling novel Battlefield Earth, L. Ron Hubbard wrote that science fiction does not come after the fact of a science discovery or development. It is the herald of possibility. It is the plea that someone should work on the future. Altman continued, we can't work on the future if we can't even acknowledge the possibility, much less the inevitability of our existence of extraterrestrials. We are now only discovering how we can influence our reality with our thoughts. Quantum physics and the entanglement theory shows us this. It's our earliest writings. Our ancestors wrote stories about the connection to ancient astronauts visiting the Earth's past. Why do we disavow them? Altman added. If nothing else, doesn't our own success with space travel suggest that we could easily have visitors here from another star system? Altman notes some interesting facts about the history of UFOs and the possibility of what this means. And we have a listing here going down timeline, starting with 1947 and Kenneth Arnold sightings, and it continues to go through the 52 sighting over Washington, the Betty and Barney Hill incident in 66, crop circles in the general public in 77, along with NASA's 2 unmanned space probes. Might also want to add that that was the same year that Star Trek and Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out. 79, we had Star Trek, the motion picture. 80, Bentwaters. Okay, so we go down this whole list all the way up to the present time. says the New York Times best-selling seller Battlefield by L. Ron Hubbard, originally released in '82, is about to be relaunched Father's Day 2016 with a new edition of the book containing 50 pages of additional features, including never-before-published author handwritten notes, the last public interview done by Mr. Hubbard, and more. All right. Here we have UFO software that can turn your computer into a UFO hunter. Many people are interested in what's really up there in the night sky, and now new software promises to help people keep an eye out for the unknown. UFO Detector, as it has been named, is a computer software program designed to help individuals monitor the sky day and night for unidentified flying objects. The idea is simple. If UFO is detected, the software will automatically record a video of the event in the best possible quality. Of course, users are encouraged to share the recorded video and discuss among other enthusiasts. UFO Detector makes video sharing as easy as one click. UFOid, UFOID, provides a platform to share the recorded videos and have them analyzed by other people, states the UFO Detector website. Whether you are a believer or a skeptic, your opinion matters, and it is used to identify the objects. In an interview with Open Minds TV, UFO Detector developer Mark Mickham stated that the idea came about when he thought that there had to be a better way to study UFO phenomena. Although the software has been around for a while, Mickham only recently made it open source. He created UFOID.net in conjunction with it, and the platform now exists for individuals to share their findings as a community. UFO Detector works with a computer's webcam. The camera must be pointed in the direction of the sky, understandably, in order to capture potent UFO footage. The software allows users to choose which part of their screen to monitor. It also supposedly smart enough to rule out interference from objects such as planes and birds, as long as the user tags them. The goal is to only record supposed UFOs rather than to eat up your hard drive space with videos of inactive skies. On UFO's YouTube page, the UFOID YouTube page, UFO Detector users have already posted videos caught with the software depicting some unusual activity. Many of these videos have hundreds of views, hinting that UFO Detector may actually be achieving its goal of bringing the UFO community closer together. The developer of the UFO Detector are currently working on making the software functional on a wide variety of platforms, including Raspberry Pi. Additionally, a new feature will soon be introduced to prevent the tampering of the captured video. All right, that sounds pretty interesting. Got the UFO. Let's see if we click on this link right here. It should take us right to their site. You can see what it is. There it is. UFOID, a new way to collect and analyze. Introducing the UFO Detector. All right, click here to download it. Tells you all you need to know about it. Their goals. Looks for an algorithm that looks for light-emitting objects which cannot be identified as a known object. It records. Analyzing platform is connected to a dedicated platform to share the recorded videos. The community is able to rate, analyze, and discuss. All right. So there you go. There's the UFO Detector. And finally, one more UFO story for today. This is from Filer's Files. It says 2 Roswell UFO crashes. In general reports this week, Files cover secret Air Force evaluation of flying discs, UFO crashes in New Mexico, generals fly to New Mexico, and so, okay. So we get into this story here. So several military personnel have given sworn testimony that a UFO that crashed near Roswell, New Mexico in June 1947 was taken to Wright Field, the home of the Air Material Command. I've been informed that General Twining personally saw the captured aliens in their craft. This is a transcription of General Nathan Twining's letter as Commander, Air Material Command to Higher Headquarters. He indicates his best engineers and scientists examined the craft. Later, General Twining was promoted to Chief of Staff of the Air Force, and on August 15, 1957, President Eisenhower, in the Cabinet Room of the White House, formally swore in General Twining as Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs the highest military position in the United States. This is a transcript of General Twining's letter to Commander as Air Material Command dated September 23, 1947. Goes on to say, subject, AMC opinion concerning flying discs to the Commanding General Army Air Force, Washington 25, D.C. Attention Brigadier General George Skoldigan, ACAS-2. As requested by AC-AS2, there is presented below the considered opinion of this command concerning the so-called flying disc. This opinion is based on interrogation report data furnished by ACAS-2 and preliminary studies by personnel of T2 and Aircraft Laboratory, Engineering Division T3. This opinion was arrived at in a conference between personnel from Air Institute of Technology, Intelligence T2, Office, Chief of Engineering Division, and the Aircraft Power Plant and Propeller Laboratories of Engineering Division T3. It is the opinion that the phenomena is something real and not visionary or fictitious, that there are objects probably approximating the shape of a disk of such appreciable size as to appear to be large as a man-made craft. There is a possibility that some of the incidents may be caused by natural phenomena such as meteors. The reported operating characteristics such as extreme rates of climb, maneuverability, particularly in roll, and motion, which must be considered evasive when sighted or contacted by friendly aircraft and radar, lend belief to the possibility that some of the objects are controlled manually, automatically, or remotely. The apparent common description is as follows. It is possible metallic or light reflecting surface, absence of trail except the few instances where the object apparently was operating under high performance conditions, circular or elliptical in shape, flatter bottom and domed on top. Several reports of well-kept formation flights varying from 3 to 9 objects. Normally no associated sound except the 3 instances of substantial rumbling roar was noted, and level flight speeds normally about 300 knots are estimated. As you can see, there's more to this. I'm going to leave this to you because it's a good investigation, and as you know, the stories over here at Filer's Files are always very fascinating and well researched. So there you have it. That's our UFO news for today. I'll be back momentarily. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up. wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
Okay. Time to demand the truth. You know, sometimes the thing about the truth is it's hard to hear. Sometimes it can be a bit difficult, and we don't want to hear the truth because we become afraid. And in this day and age, we're dealing with a lot of that, aren't we? I don't know how we got to this place where we are so oversensitive about understanding what's going on in the world. I don't understand how we've gotten to a place where college students are becoming so afraid of words that the discussions that used to take place are now being, challenged by groups who want to silence free speech. College used to be a place where that was the thing that you did in order to grow into the world. And now it's becoming places where it seems like babysitting services. The stories across the country are just mind-boggling of what's going on in these institutions. But one good thing to note about that is American people are paying attention, and some of these universities are now having problems because they see their enrollment numbers are going down, and they are being affected. University of Missouri, who had all those problems, they're being affected now because they're seeing that their future enrollment's changing. They're finding that donors aren't giving to the university because they're seeing the problems that are going on. So it's not falling on, deaf ears. People are paying attention. But we still need to pay more attention. We need to speak up against the things that really are backwards in society. We have to stop being afraid that somebody who doesn't like our ideas is going to criticize us. There used to be a saying that we had, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Now we've gotten to the point where we're afraid of the names, and it's bizarre. So here's a story here. This one is getting a lot of attention. I'm going to read you the story first before I throw out my 2 cents worth. More than 1 million people have signed the boycott pledge against Target following the secretive decision by executives to open all of their stores' bathrooms and changing room to people of both sexes. Late Thursday night, roughly 75 people a minute were adding their names to the petition as it clicked over 1 million just after 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 1 million families who are going to spread the word that Target may not get those customers back or their money, said Tim Wildman, president of the American Family Association, which has hosted the boycott. Target's management is just going to have to step up and say, we're settling hammers and hats. We're not into social engineering. The boycott was announced April 20th by the association one day after Target revealed its decision to favor its few transgender customers and staff over the rest of the population. A study of the 2010 census suggests that only 1 in 2,400 adults changed their names to match their names used by the other sex. Wildman's association wants to affirm people's privacy in bathrooms and changing rooms, but also to block the progressive multi-front push to stigmatize and outlaw any recognition of average differences between men and women, between boys and girls. The LBTG agenda is being rammed down people's throats, and people are losing their jobs because of it, and is becoming so that you can't think differently from these people, or you're called a hater or a bigot. Okay. Look. First of all, in this country, we all have freedom of speech. We all have our rights. But my right does not mean that I get to infringe upon another person's right. It means my rights are my rights, and I learn to be tolerant of other people's rights, especially when they're exercising the same rights that I have. It's also important to be in a society and use one's common sense to understand that there are bad people in the world. There's bad people from every group or gender out here in America and in the world today. Doesn't matter if you're black or white or brown or yellow. Doesn't matter if you're male or female or gay or straight or transgender. None of that matters. Doesn't matter what religion you are, whether you're Jewish or you're Islamic, or whether you're Christian or Catholic or Buddhist. It matters not. Because in each one of the groups and organizations that I named, there are bad people. Now, the bad people in those groups may only make up a very, very small percentage, but there's bad people. And when you take and push all those groups aside, there's people in the world that are just absolutely crazy, insane, not thinking like anybody else because they're abnormal. And there's these abnormal people in the world. Those are the problems. Because some of these people who don't represent any of those groups out there, some of those people just want to hurt other people or abuse other people because there's something abnormal about them. So when you have a store that says it's okay for men to go into the bathroom if they identify with being a woman, whereas that is good for the transgenders who want to have the opportunity to go into a bathroom and not feel bad, because if they're transitioning, I could understand if someone's transitioning from male to female, they don't want to go in the male anymore. They want to go into the female. I could understand. I also understand that person's probably going to go in and want their privacy. And I understand about the stalls and all of this and that. However, I also understand that there are people in the world that are just sick perverts, men that are just sick perverts, that will see that there is a loophole that allows them to walk into a female facility, bathroom, dressing room, whatever, and claim that they are a woman and then stay there. See, that's the problem. It's not about the transgenders. It's about the people who are abnormal, demented, perverts that prey on children. And people that prey on children will find different ways to do it. And if you give them an opportunity. So if the people in the transgender community can't quite wrap their head around this, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, because if you can't understand that there are sick people in the world that are going to try to take advantage of something, especially when those sick people are going to give you a bad name, because you're not associated with them, but they're going in there under the guise of using a law that's supposed to help you, but it left a loophole for them. And that's the problem. So what are we going to do? Are we going to allow a bill to go in and open up children to scrutiny? There's already stories. There was a story down in Texas the other day. Or, no, Alabama, excuse me. And a mall in Alabama. A man went into the dressing room dressed as a woman, and he had a video camera with him. It was actually a bathroom. There was another situation of a dressing room where the guy had a camera on his shoe. These are just incidents that are coming up in local papers and local media outlets over the last couple days. So there are sicko perverts in the world, and they're doing this in places where the law hasn't even gone through to pass. Probably because they simply heard that it's okay if you're a guy to go in the women's room now. Because they're not thinking clearly. There are sick, twisted, demented, mentally ill people in the world. They make up a small percentage, but they're out there. And if you are turning a blind eye and saying that doesn't exist, then I'm going to say that perhaps you're not really looking at things clearly. Perhaps you need to rethink what's going on. Because yes, if there is a transgender issue and if there is a situation that you want privacy, I'm sure we're going to do what we can to accommodate that, as we have done so throughout the course of time here in America, to accommodate for groups, for minorities, so they no longer feel ostracized. We do a great job of that. And so we'll handle that situation, but we also have to understand we have to handle it the right way so as not to take away from the privacy and the protection that the small children have. That's all. So we need to understand that. So important. And it seems like there's a lack of common sense going on. Now I'm going to change gears here to another topic, we know about Ted Cruz and the Carly Fiorina. Well, I just wanted to remind you of this link. Attorney files request of information and complaint to FEC regarding pro-Cruz Super PAC's $500,000 donation to Carly Fiorina Super PAC. Donors gave the Keep the Promise Super PAC, which was created to support Senator Ted Cruz's campaign for president. However, though they gave, believing the Super PAC's mission statement that all the funds would be used to aid Cruz in his presidential campaign race, at least $500,000 was given to former GOP presidential candidate Carly Fiorina's Super PAC, Carly for America. Now, an attorney has filed information regarding the $500,000 donation from the Super PAC and filed a complaint with the Federal Elections Commission. Attorney Orly Tates has officially requested information pertaining to the donation and complained to the FEC. According to the recent FEC filing, $500,000 was given to the campaign of Carly Fiorina. As such information is hereby requested under 5 USC 552 Freedom of Information Act of any and all documents of actions taken by the FEC against the Super PAC and the campaigns of Ted Cruz and Carly Fiorina in regards to this misappropriation of funds and the fraud of the donors. If no action was taken, a request is being made herein for investigation and action based upon the fraudulent diversion of this aforementioned $500,000 of donations. All right, there's more to it there. The link's available. Look, Ted Cruz has been doing this for a while. Him and Carly Fiorina have been working together for some period of time. It's not anything that is new to anybody who's been paying attention to news other than the mainstream. The question is, what was this money for? I'm seeing those who are linking up this money that went in to pay for the ad and that went out against Melania Trump. I'm seeing that this money has gone in as a hush payment to pay off because one of Carly Fiorina's people that worked for her was allegedly on this list as Ted Cruz, one of his mistresses. Whatever it is, something shady's going on. Okay? This man is not a very nice man. He's a very shady fellow. And yet he's running for the highest office in the land, and there are people who are still watching this. Really bizarre. Bizarre. The guy should drop out. Okay? Just in the sense of fairness. If he can't see that, again, it's one of these things that if we can't see what's truly going on, the man's delusional. You hear him, he sounds delusional. It's bizarre. Very bizarre. All right, so there are some controlling factors behind everything that's going on. Controlling influences in the world. And the idea is, what are these influences? Who is holding all of the secrets to everything that's going on? And when you track it down, there's only a few groups and names of groups that come up. Certainly one of the groups that comes up is NASA. Another name that comes up is Illuminati. And one other name that comes up is Jesuits. So I wanted to dig in a little bit and understand a bit who the Jesuits are. And so I've got a couple of bits of research here to look into. First thing we have here is the Jesuit website itself, jesuits.com. Go right to the source. It says the Jesuits, we are the Society of Jesus, a Roman Catholic order of priests and brothers founded half a millennium ago by a soldier turned mystic, Ignatius Loyola. But most people just call us the Jesuits. In a vision of our founder, we seek to find God in all things. We dedicate ourselves to the greater glory of God and the glory of all humanity, and we do so gratefully in collaboration with others who share our values, including laypersons. They have become the part of the extended Jesuit family. With close to 17,000 plus priests and brothers worldwide, we are the largest male religious order in the Catholic Church. We are pastors, teachers, and chaplains. We are also doctors, lawyers, and astronomers, among many other roles in the church and society. In our varied ministries, we care for the whole person, body, mind, and soul, and especially in our education ministries, we seek to nurture men and women for others. Jesuits draw on the rich tradition of Ignatian spirituality and reflection in our retreat centers, parishes, campus ministries, and so on. Okay, so says here, members of the religious order Jesuits take 3 vows: poverty, chastity, and obedience. And a fourth vow of obedience, specifically in regard to the worldwide mission. In other words, Jesuits must be ready to accept whatever mission the Pope requires, a vow that is reflective of our brethren, of our broader dedication to the universal church and the greater good of all people from all faiths and cultures. Okay, so seems pretty good, right? Seems pretty good. But when you get past the outer layer, you start to see that there's a hierarchy within there in which orders and orders that might not necessarily seem very godlike or divine or good are often followed and given. There's a lot of murder, there's a lot of deceit, there's a lot of things that have occurred over the years with the Jesuits. And so rather than just trying to throw out a brief summary, I'm just going to introduce you to this video. We can discuss this another time. But here's a really good video called The Historical Origins of the Jesuit Order. And it really gets into a very nice, good, simple breakdown of their history, so we could understand a bit who they are, what they're about. And then finally, once we get past the history here, I have this link here, The Diabolical History of the Society of Jesus. In which case, what we have here is the story of the Jesuits. Okay. Says the time will soon arrive in which the company of Jesus will become very solicitous in human sciences, but without a single application to virtue. The ambition will be to dominate, the overbearing, and pride penetrating its soul to rule alone, and no one can restrain them. That was by Jerome Lanuza, 1650-ish, Bishop of Alberson. Here we have another one. He who thinks he knows the Jesuits by having read all the books that were written in the past century to unmask them would be grossly deceived. The Jesuitism of that day was an open war against the gospel and society. The Jesuitism of the present is a slow but contagious and deadly disease which secretly insinuates itself. It is a poison taken under the name of medicine. Luigi Descansitis, 1851. Official censor of Inquisition, Popery, Pyrrhonism, and Jesuitism. One more. Bedram Disraeli, 1877, British Prime Minister. Says the health of the people is really the foundation upon which all happiness and power as a state depend. But if the population of the country is stationary or yearly diminishing, if while it diminishes in number, it diminishes also in stature and strength, the country is doomed. The health of the people is, in my opinion, the first duty of a statesman. All right, so a lot of information here. You can read about them, but certainly when talking about the stage, the world stage of power struggles, the Jesuits' name comes up quite often. So I wanted to bring you that information so you can at least begin the journey. It's really something that is quite a deep rabbit hole, so to speak. And I think that it's important to learn to understand, so we know that one of the phrases that keeps coming up, and you have to know your enemy, and seems that if they're involved with so many activities of worldly nature, seems like we should get to know who and what they're about, especially since our lives are being affected by who and what they are about and what they're doing. All right. Moving onward. Here's an article. It's over at In5D. It says, reveal your life's purpose by asking these 15 questions. By Stevie P. You came here for a reason, didn't you? You can feel it in the depths of your being. Your life is inconceivably meaningful. You arrived on Earth for a purpose. But what that purpose is, you have to uncover and create yourself. It's an epic quest from cradle to grave, and that's what makes life worth living. There is a deep yearning within everyone for that deep-seated sense of purpose. When people know what it is, they become an unstoppable force. Absolutely nothing can stand between them and the manifestation of their destiny. But how do you reveal your life's purpose? Well, I can tell you exactly how, as it is incredibly distinct from person to person. I can't tell you how because it's distinct from person to person, but I can provide you with the tools for you to guide yourselves along the journey. And your purpose isn't static either. It may very well change and evolve throughout the course of your life. Heraclitus hit the nail on the head when he said no man steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. Ask and you shall receive. There are 15 questions to ask yourself which will set you in the direction of your life's purpose. I'm just going to give the questions, and then you can come back and read all the little further information about each one. Number 1, what gives me energy? 2, what excites me? 3, what kind of ideas come to me in the shower? 4, what kind of things do people always ask me about? 5, what kind of conversations do I have with those closest to me? 6, what do I do with my free time? 7, what topics do I regularly read about? 8, what reoccurring dreams do I have? 9, which experiences in my life have I felt the most alive? 10, what unique interests or abilities did I have as a young child? 11, what would I do if money were no object? 12, what would I be doing if I absolutely 100% did not care about what other people think? 13, what is on my bucket list? 14, what topics can I blend together to create my own unique niche? And 15, if I were to write a short 1 to 2 sentence about me, describing the ideal version of myself, what would it be? Okay. It says have fun on your quest called life. So very good. So check that out. Go to that link, read through that, ask yourself the questions. You know, it's always good. I find myself continually asking lots of questions on a quest to understand more and more. And whenever I begin that quest and whenever I have that desire to find more and more, it's amazing that the more and more presents itself. And then I get a chance to read and learn something more, and undoubtedly, there's always something more to learn from there. So that's what makes it interesting, because we can keep stretching ourselves. All right, here is a channeled message for today. This is called Heaven's Letters.
A bag of surprises. Heavenletter 5634, published on April 28, 2016, channeled by Gloria Wendroth. Heavenletter 5634, published on April 28, 2016, channeled by Gloria Wendroth. God said, "You are free on earth. It may not seem so to you. You may feel bogged down in so many matters that you are overwhelmed. Dear ones, you are free even to be overwhelmed. It is not a stretch to say that out of a peck of opportunities, you may well have chosen one named overwhelmed. There are so many choices in life before you. All of them are for you to choose from. You even have the choice to run away from what you would love to choose. You may put your hand out, and then pull your hand back. You do not give yourself credit for the ability to achieve your desires, and so you back away, or, perhaps, it can be said that you back away from fulfilling a desire of yours out of timidity or, perhaps, from some kind of fear of success or failure. In any case, it can be that you accept less than your full quotient. On one level, it doesn't matter. On another level, it matters very much. Well, who in life knows for a fact what his best choices are? You can only guess. Perhaps you can build yourself up to say yes more often to what you desire than you say no to what you desire. If life has picked a flower for you, it may behoove you to accept the flower and not throw it away. Regardless, life is your choice, and you choose one way or another. Caution tells you that you can't accept everything that comes your way. On the other hand, you want your heart to flow where it wants to flow. Challenges are acceptable. You don't have to make sure bets. You can work at what you want. Everything doesn't have to be a sure thing. You don't have to succeed in everything. Success can be in giving yourself your best shot. Perhaps you can stick with something just as easily as you can drop it. You don't have to stick with it any more than you have to drop it. Free choice. Make your choices yours rather than the advice of the seeming world. There are all kinds of gains. There are many kinds of gains. Which pair of glasses do you want to look through? Keep your options open. Of course, you can choose to stay on the same track. Of course, you can choose new horizons as well. You are a chooser of choices. I am speaking here of daring to follow your heart. Herein lies the reward. The thing is, following your heart or following your logic is not so easy for you to know which is which. Life in the world has many variables. Sometimes you are not sure what is heart and what is ego, and sometimes you spend your whole life in debating a decision. And, sometimes, you simply have to choose. And sometimes you have to let go of choices made. Let's consider that there are no best choices or worst choices. There are only choices. Have no regrets. Regrets are a delaying action. With regrets, the past holds you in its thrall. Look, regrets are your choice as well. Don't waste your life on regrets. You can't keep reading the same pages in a book over and over. Turn the pages, and move on. When you are open, beloveds, you are open to a kind of magic bag of surprises. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in more than one way. Open your heart and mind to what you would love to have happen during your life on earth. What are the possibilities you think of? What are the possibilities you haven't yet thought of? Anticipate a great life on earth. Open the gates to good fortune. Wake up, you are not here for misfortune. Toss blessings up in the air, and catch them.
All right. Good message. Toss blessings up in the air and catch them. It's a good idea. Good idea. All right, that finally brings us to our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. Now let's just imagine ourselves walking down the street, through our neighborhood, someplace familiar that we know, the way we do each and every day. And just focus in on the energy that flows through you. Feel the energy that flows from deep inside and fills our entire being. And as you feel that energy filling up your body, imagine the sound, the color, the temperature of this energy. Imagine how it feels in your body. And just imagine allowing this energy as light. Let's imagine this light shining out of your body. And as it shines out into the world, let's imagine that it shines on the big screen of life around you and projects the movie that is playing inside of you. And there you are living in this virtual reality, which is the reality coming from each and every one of us, fueled by spirit that flows and emanates from source through us. Let's just imagine now, with this energy flowing through us and our eyes open, just looking around the world and observing what is taking place. And as we observe, let's just work to understand the dynamics involved. And let's look at the situations with compassion and see how we might adjust them positively, simply by adjusting our thoughts, thereby adjusting the movie that is projected. And as we look at these thoughts flowing through us, we understand the purity of this thought as it comes and enters our being from within. And we understand that the challenge is the filter of the human body, and that the more we cleanse the filter, the clearer this movie shows on the screen of life. And so we know that by simply clearing the body of distractions, we're simply able to allow this flowing light, this emanating projection, to shine brightly. So let's just imagine moving through the world, shining forth the light which shines into and through us. Let's imagine just shining this light, projecting this reality of divinity into the world. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey, ever grateful. Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, thank you for the blessings. We are truly grateful for all that flows through us, for the blessings of the Christ that fill each of our lives with love, passion, creativity. And we pray that this day we may all come to understand a deeper aspect of our connection to all that is, was, and ever shall be. So let the subconscious mind continue upon the journey, shining forth the light within us. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's it for today. That's it for the week. That's it for the month. Next week we'll be in a new month. It'll be the beginning of May. So things are progressing. We're moving forward. Have a great weekend. Just keep shining forth that's within you. Keep working to understand. Look, we can make the difference in the world. Our thoughts change things. If we become clear on what it is that needs to be changed, we can simply use our thoughts to create that. Every one of us makes a difference. So if we see problems in the world, we can change it. First, by changing the way we think about that situation. And as more and more people across this planet start thinking in more positive manners, we'll change everything. And we'll find that those who have a grip on society will lose that grip, because there's more of us than there are of them. They're just playing a Jedi mind trick on us all. That's the only thing that's different. So let's get smarter, and let's not get caught up in their mind games. Let's step past the illusion of them as the controllers and realize that the spirit of the Creator flows through us, and that spirit, that creative force, well, that is the source, and that's all we need to know. So you have an awesome weekend. I will talk to you next week. Until then, I love you. Keep loving each other. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.